There's another advantage of having a 1.9 TDI in MR2. Exhaust manifold to turbo stud snapped, so I had to remove the turbo. Took all of about 1 minute and didn't even have to remove any boost pipes, just literally undo the turbo, made the space, pulled out the stud, and that's it. That job would have took you all day in a, if it was a 1.9 TDI and a fucking you know, normal Golf or whatever, or most cars really, but 2 seconds on this. Good times. Another day at the workshop and another day doing kind of sketchy things.
Stuff that shouldn't have been done.
No.
That we shouldn't be doing.
This is a 11 centimeter HX52 housing from some kind of Volvo. And it's got a really weird flange.
You should make a playlist of stuff you shouldn't do at home.
Yeah.
Or you shouldn't do at all.
Yeah.
And it will be full.
Yeah. Full of this place.
Yeah.
So, sketchy things that shouldn't be done by anybody, especially not us. 11 centimeter housing, which I wanted to use on a HX52. This is a HX52 housing, but little did we know, I had no idea until we found out, the one I wanted to fit this to is a later spec HX52, which has got like a 1 mil or so bigger wheel. No big deal, we think, but even though Thomas used the lathe to increase the size of the extruder on here, which would make it work, technically, the curve of the blades between the inducer and extruder is surprisingly bloody different. So, and unfortunately, it won't fit in the lathe like that because of this big funky flange. This flange seemed like a good idea at first to keep because I thought I had the other side to it, and it's a nice design that won't leak and whatever, but I can't find that flange anyway, and now we've already machined that. This is technically scrap unless we can make it work. So as sketchy things go, to help it fit in the lathe, hopefully, and because fuck it, why not? I don't know where that flange is anymore anyway, so we can't really use that. Thomas is going to attempt to chop the fucking whole flange off with this disc cutter. It probably will work.
That should give us enough space.
Yeah, hopefully.
Between this and this to gram this in a jaws, but then it's more complicated because we still have to grab it from this side to machine this to be precise and still on the same axis with the coil, and then clamp it from this side to machine the internals from that side. So yeah.
Yeah, it's an incredibly...
Sounds more complicated than it is, but it's
still a pain.
Yeah. Well,
let's see.
This is sketchy.
That housing really looks small. Fucking hell.
It does it?
Yeah, it's tiny, isn't it? That is a very small turbine housing. That's a very big flange.
What?
Let's see. Oh, you want to check it already, do you?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
Ah.
Obviously not so easy because now we have to come from this side, machine that internally so it matches the same axis. Make sure we center it with internal here, and then we can well, once we're done that, and then we can start machining inside. But it means this is doable. We've done this before. It's gonna take a couple of hours, but it's you can use this. Use it, so
I'm very pleased.
And yeah, we barely touched this.
That's fine. It's so thick it don't matter. And once again, burning out bushes. These front ones have been way more of a pain in the ass than the rears for some reason. They took longer to burn out. Maybe made a different rubber. These were pretty knackered though, so I don't think they've been changed for a while, but either way, they didn't melt as easy. But they're nearly there. The lower arms are finished. These one side upper rear arm is pretty much dead, as you can tell. And then I just got to do these two, which I started, but that's it. And then we're done. But it's a bit of a smoky, horrible job, but thankfully it's not cold tonight. It's grotty and it's wet, but it's not cold. So these bushes have got two parts. You got the rubber bit. Oh, fuck me, that's hot. You got the rubber bits, of course, but there's two metal bits. The inner sleeve, which is where the bolt goes through, that comes out quite easy. But they've also got these outer sleeves, which is very close to the edge of the metal, and then there's a thin, very thin piece of rubber between that and the actual body there. And because I'm burning them out, and obviously this is for extra thin, this bit is much harder to come out. It comes out, but generally it comes out, it's hard to explain, but like the rubber burning physically pushes them out. Like once that's happening, you can push it out yourself, but until that sort of happens, you pretty much can't push it out yourself, so there's almost no point. But you can literally sit here and watch it go and then fall on the floor. But yeah, now these two now, both the inners and outers have fell out, and this is just getting rid of the last of the rubber, which I usually do with a chisel. Just run round it in there and get it out. And then these, and then that's the last of the bushes. That's the last inner, and that going mad on fire is basically the bit of rubber between the outer bush and the body of the arm. Because like I said, that bit barely gets to melt because, well, there's no air gap. So once you push out onto the floor, it fucking really goes up in flames. But it's done by then. So yeah, just got to give these a quick wire wheel to get any bits of shit out, and then this smelly dirty job's done. This is a pretty fucking disjointed at the moment, so yeah, lots of things have started and lots of things isn't finished. So I'll sort of, you'll see a hint to how things are going. All suspensions apart, and I'm painting it. As you can tell, it's getting there. Obviously it's fucking freezing at the moment, so it's going to take a while to dry, but to be fair, it's looking quite good. I wish I would have done the rear suspension like this now, because this looks better than what I did with the rears, and this is a lot easier too, but it looks really good. So yeah, all of that to go. You know, it's Thomas finished welding the mounts, because obviously when we mocked it up, he just spot welded it, and you know, just so we had it in place so we knew it would work. Now he finished it properly, so they're strong as fuck, so I painted it all. Yeah, this is, I don't know when this is going to dry. It's so fucking cold at the moment, but certainly not today, and probably not tomorrow. The rack's apart because I've depowered it. As I mentioned on the previous video, I was going to fuck the power steering off, and what you really need to do, ideally, is to depower it, and I'll explain that. Basically, the hydraulic system inside, you need to remove, pretty much, which involves like a seal there, which is a mixture of a metal bit and some rubber bits, and that basically forces the fluid to be one side of the rack or the other. So you fuck that bit off for a start, and a few other bits and bobs. I've plugged all the lines. Basically, I cut them flush, flattened them off, and then as a bit of an extra safeguard, I've put some epoxy in them all. I mean, to be honest, it doesn't matter. There's no fluid in there anymore. It's literally to stop dust and shit getting in. So that's that. And the final thing I've done, and I will show you, I'll have to take the nut off to show you. In a second. And the final thing I've done is weld the pinion, which is that bit there. See the weld there? Obviously. What it is, although it looks solid when you take first glance, these things have got like a torsion bar in the middle. So although they're relatively solid, it's not. It's like a torsion bar. So when you've got the leverage of the steering wheel, it like gives a bit of initial slop. It's not a problem when it's hydraulic, you know, when it's power steering, because the power steering itself, hydraulic fluid, is intended, the way all this shit inside here works, to take away a bit of that slop. It's kind of, it's made as like a damper, so it's not too fucking darty, but not too sloppy. But obviously when you remove the fluid, it turns into only a bit of slop on initial sort of, if you had no steering input, then a bit, you felt a bit. But obviously, you know, probably less than most standard cars anyway, because, you know, it's just how a lot of steering is. But obviously, you know, if you're depowering a rack on an MX5, it's generally because you want the most darty, fucking precise steering going. So you've got to weld that up, which I have. You shouldn't go mad on the weld on this, because you can warp this fucking thing. People have warped them, and then it won't steer anymore. So they reckon a few spot welds is enough. I did a little bit more than that, but I did it in kind of a spot manner, so it's not it's not warped. So that's that. And literally all I need to do now is get a load of grease, because you just want to fill that full of grease now, because there's no hydraulic fluid, and put it back together. So yeah, I ain't got any grease at the moment. Well, not enough, so it's not going back together in this video, but it is done, and literally it takes about fucking 10 minutes to put it back together, so that's easy. And yeah, another thing not strictly related to that, but I'll show you anyway, is this is a Holset HE500, basically the newer version of a HX52, which is a big turbo, 60 something mil, usually about 65 mil inducer. Physically you'd think they look big, but actually we pull it side by side with that, which is a Borg-Warn S362, I think, SXE, and honestly physically there's hardly any size difference in it. It's just Holsets tend to look bigger, but when you're sitting side by side they're not. But anyway, this is one of the smaller ones. This is only actually 61 mil inducer. It's about a 700 touch more turbo. It's not, the housing makes it look bigger than it is. It's not actually that massive. Comes with a 16 centimeter housing as standard, which is, you know, pretty small again. But I wanted to fit this crazy little tiny as fuck. I mean, look at that. It looks ridiculously small compared to that. 11 centimeter housing to it. Unfortunately, well, the flange didn't fit. The flange was like a weird one, but we cut it off. But I didn't realise on these later, these HE500s, as in a later HX52, the turbo wheel is slightly different. It's like 1 mil larger, which is, you know, you think, oh, 1 mil, big deal, just take it out 1 mil on the lathe. But yeah, 1 mil larger on the overall, you know, the inducer and exducer, trouble is, you've got the transition curve between the inducer and exducer, and that's obviously also very wrong when, you know, the wheels are 1 mil different now, and it kind of makes it sit at the moment about 5 mil too high. It doesn't mean you have to remove 5 mils worth of metal. It means you have to remove a tiny bit of the curve for about 5 mil of the curve. So at the moment it's not finished yet. It's much more of a pain in the ass than we imagined, but some magic lathe action and it can happen. I'll show you this as well. This is a cast 90-degree elbow, twin scroll, so T3 one end, nothing the other end. This is actually part of a standard exhaust manifold for some kind of truck, and I realised this bit was quite cool and maybe useful one day, so I cut it off and kept it. And yeah, and it turns out it's pretty much exactly the same ports as that, so it's entirely possible, depending on fitment, we might actually do that kind of, you know, something like that when it comes to this. But the story of all this shenanigans can come another day. But yeah, that's it for this now. I can't finish that because I haven't got grease. Can't finish that because it's fucking freezing and it's going to take a while to dry. Can't finish that because, well, Thomas needs to do it, and to be fair, we don't exactly know the best way yet, like where it's going to fit. Engine is pretty much there. It's kind of ready to go. Just need to I need to put the timing cover on it, and, you know, bits and bobs. Do up the head bolts properly. They're done up, but they're not torqued up. But it all needs to go in here. This one, the main thing I need to do is, I think, paint the engine bay, because the car's highly unlikely to stay red. So I think no matter what I do, I'm going to paint the engine bay black. So I suppose I should remove all the loom, just pull it up on the side for now, because I'm not going to need half this loom because it's having that engine. I just need the loom to run the lights and all that kind of shit. So yeah, I'm not exactly up to speed with what's what on an MX5's loom, to be fair, but it's not that complex. So I reckon I'm gonna remove all the wiring, you know, so it's just out the way, so I've got access to all the metal, and give it a bit of paint. I'm not gonna do that now again because I'm fucking freezing. I think I'm gonna go home, but I maybe do it tomorrow if I feel a bit inspired. But yeah, that's where we are. It's a bit weird at the moment because there's lots of sort of started bits but not finished bits, but it's all progress. So yeah, fucking it needs doing no matter what. I've got some bits coming from, I've got 3 different things coming at the moment, which is all needed for this car, and all, like, I didn't expect them to be coming until a few days ago, all from 3 different places. But yeah, it's kind of a good surprise, seeing as at the moment 2021 so far has been a bit fucking shit. These were 3 good kind of surprises, unexpected bonuses. So yeah, but you'll see them in a later video when things show up. So yeah, yeah, engine's awesome. It's weird, like, we've been messing with turbos and Thomas is like, oh, imagine this with like real nice twin scroll manifold. It's like, yeah, it'd be amazing, but that would be another job you have to do, and you're busy enough. You know what I mean? It's like, this was meant to stay simple. So as much as he's seeing this and going, oh, twin scroll, for now, I'm sure there'll be a later evolution of this where it goes twin scroll, but for now, you know, I think this will all spool. I mean, it's 2.5 litres. It's not fucking, you know, it is not shy. So yeah, need to sort a different throttle body as well, really, because I don't need to run the Volvo one. I probably could do with running slightly bigger. Don't know. I'll have to measure it and decide. And I'll run a just like an alloy elbow and put the throttle there. So yeah, job done. Hopefully this lot, all this footage plus the other shit I've got, we'll be making a complete video. So yeah, it's not fucking the craziest video out there, but it's all about the content, and unfortunately today the content isn't fucking big burnouts and stuff. So yeah, that's me done, and hope you enjoyed the video. And that's an Audi A6 all-road, by the way, that Thomas has just bought. It's pretty cool. It's got all the options. It's got the fucking leather Recaros and all that, so it's pretty badass. Unfortunately, it needs a gearbox. That works. But anyway, yeah, hope you enjoyed all this, and obviously there's a shitload more coming. So stay subscribed, because obviously there'll be a lot more action coming, because the weather's getting a bit less shit too, so that's a bonus. And we'll see you next time.